just keep rolling.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For the
have
dance.
to rewind just a little tiny bit because I lost a little bit of that.
No problem. For the dance, it's great to leave that legacy so that people can study the dance and realize that it's come from these special dancers, the people that really set the trend. You've got, the early Desi Parks, you've got Paul Trouble Anderson, you've got Ian Baptiste, you've got Trevor Shakes, you've got, all these kind of people, and people should know who these guys are and what was their step so that they can go and formulate something. Music-wise, DJs-wise, promoters-wise, where was this happening? Maybe do what they do at those heritage sites, put a plaque and said this is where it started, because it's part of our grown up and part of our history, and they should know that this music is there, and what they should do is just have a listen, then formulate their own mind, because you can't tell people what to do, but if they listen to the specific things and saying these maybe 5 grooves that epitomise that kind of feel and have to change, these dances epitomise that, and together this is what we had. This is your chance to kind of take some of that and take it further on your journey. That's what I believe.
Where do you think those plaques should be placed? If you had 5 plaques.
Oh no, I think
the blue plaques.
Yeah. Yeah. It was Beat Street. There was Beetroot. There was, before it came, the WAG. What was the name of the club?
Whiskey A Go-Go.
Whiskey A Go-Go. Whiskey A Go-Go. I would love to put something in Gossips because of what it did on that part. Crackers, I think that deserves one, of course. So there's 4, and my change where they had 2 rooms, Lyceum as well. So that was the All Dayers and things like that. Yeah, there's too many to mention, to be honest. There's too many to mention. So, but I think if it's what it needs is a place in the books to saying this existed, and they look out for all these kind of people that did something, collage of faces, and so people would say, oh yeah, they went there, and linking that story together to where it is now. That's what I think is really important, because a lot of the young people don't want to go backwards, they're always running forwards, but they need to know that this was here, and then hopefully we can encourage them to take more part in it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do with the documentary, is at least get some of the oral stories.
There's young players out
recorded.
There's young DJs out there who are playing funk and playing soul, but they're playing it because they like music, but they don't know any background, So, and I think it's important that they're aware of that, because if they're getting into it now, hopefully they're the ones who are going to pass it on, And as you know, in Global, they've got some great young DJs who are playing, kind of rare soul, rare funk, and Raregroove, and disco, and soul. So it's like, wow, okay, this is a huge platform, and hopefully more and more people will kind of get involved in it, because it's great stuff.
Well, Perry, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and getting the oral, the oral story straight from someone who was living it and
I'm
breathing
just part
it.
of many. I'm not, there's a few people that you can speak to and they've got stories, but I'm just lucky enough to still be doing it and still want to be able to, and still enjoy it, so I can bring just parts of what I understand into it. So it's been a pleasure talking to you and sharing a part of my story, and hopefully being a part of a bigger story, and that's what I'm kind of proud about. So thank you.
No, thank you very much, Perry. It's been a wonderful interview. Thank you.
Pleasure. It's madness, isn't it? I mean, the music just drives me mad, and there's things, it's like, wow, yeah, I know where it is, I know where that sits, and it's like, okay, this is going to be interesting, what people are going to think about where I'm going to go,
get inspired every day hearing new tunes.
Right. Absolutely.
And then bringing those new tunes fresh.
Yeah.
They're fresh for you, so you can present them in a way.
Absolutely right. Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, look, I'm gonna listen to I'll be listening, to be honest, doing the interview, and it's beautiful. I'm thinking, I remember like, going to Essex, going down to Lacey Ladies and hearing what they were doing in their soul thing, 06, Stage 3, doing all that. Loved it.
Lacey Ladies. Let's just touch on Lacey Ladies, because something that comes up. Barry's always talking about his experience at Lacey Ladies. It sounds like a place where it was almost a sort of what's the word? Like a melting pot. A place of great inspiration for very young people who are sort of coming onto the scene. Yeah,
it was. I mean, when you find out there's a lot of clubs and a lot of sessions going on, you tend to follow, and so long that you hear certain people are going, then you want a part of it, because it should be good. You don't know what the club's like until you get there, and when you got there, when you found that there's a few hundred people just really locked into the groove and the music, and then you just got carried away with it. We were just so lucky that later on in life they become iconic clubs that people were talking about. And went, oh, I went there. I didn't know at the time it was going to be. I just knew that they was going to play the tracks that we were supposed to hear.
You were just hungry for the music and wanted a boogie.
That's exactly what it was. So nothing else.
Again, just if you don't mind, as a final piece, could you just paint the atmosphere of Lacey Lady, where it was in London, the kind of building it was, walking through, where the DJ booth was, how big it was inside, the kind of people. Yeah,
that's hard to remember, because I remember it having.
You have to start off with.
Because when we got there, going down to Lace Ladies, we had to drive. Was driving from Luton. We had to go down Ilford. It was the old times where you had the A to Z's, to get there. So you had to plot your route. If you knew a couple of people, then you'd meet them along the way. Then you follow them to get to the space. And I remember. We didn't find it hard to park. I think we went past the club because it was on the main drag, turned second right and was able to park quite easy, and then walk in and go to the space. It was bigger than I thought it would be, because in some of the clubs, well, they were huge. They were huge. But in the London styles, you're used to smaller spaces, unless you did Royalty, which was quite huge. So going there and seeing people dancing there, because you had that divide, you had the Essex and the London divide, the East London divide kind of thing, and people were travelling in from there, and we're travelling down to go into there. So again, it was a different feel. It was different to kind of go into the 100 Club. It was predominantly, you thought it was predominantly North, East and West London going to, but you found out people travelling further afield to go there. But it was exciting. Again, it was following to have that extra musical fix, and then the next day or the next week you go back into London again, to the centre, to get the real fix, as it were, because London was doing slightly different to everybody else.
Great, thank you very much, Perry.
Real pleasure. Bye. I think it clubbing wise and going out there, it's just to get out to these things, it's just crazy.
Yes, well.
Oh no!
I wasn't making too much noise, no?
That's right. It was filmed.
I love your swag, bro.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Cheers. But for all the things that we did and all the places doing, and you still feel young at heart, still doing it, and you think you can, but the reality is you can't. So you just take it a little bit slower, but you still do it. The operative word is still doing it, and still going out there and enjoying it, meeting like-minded people, and coming into this. You know what I mean?
So we wicked and I'm walking. Dig it out. On the Brunswick, Brunswick. On the Brunswick, Brunswick. Everybody feeling good and dancing. Them start, them